November 15th, 1966. A back road on the edge of Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Two young couples are driving past an abandoned munitions plant when their headlights catch something standing in the dark. A figure. Taller than a man. Wings folded against its back. And two eyes red and glowing locked directly onto them. They run, and the thing follows, keeping pace with a car doing 100 miles an hour. Within weeks, it isn't four terrified people anymore. It's dozens. Police officers, factory workers, whole families, all describing the same impossible creature. The same red eyes. They called it the Mothman. But here is the part almost nobody talks about. The most frightening thing that happened in Point Pleasant was never the monster. It was what the human mind did next. Point Pleasant was a small place. Around 6,000 people, sitting where two rivers meet. A quiet, working town. The kind of place where nothing happens, and everyone prefers it that way. But just outside town sat something strange. Locals called it the TNT area, an abandoned World War II munitions plant. Miles of dark tunnels, concrete domes, and storage bunkers, slowly being swallowed by the forest. Fenced off. Forgotten, the kind of place teenagers dared each other to go at night. And on that November night, that's exactly what the two couples did. They drove out there for something to do. Then, near an old generator building, the headlights found it. A shape 6 or 7 feet tall, gray skin. Great wings folded down its back, and when the light hit its eyes, they didn't just shine. They burned red. It opened its wings. And they did the only thing a human body knows how to do. They ran. They threw the car into reverse, spun onto the highway, and pushed it as fast as it would go. And the creature rose into the air behind them. No flapping, just gliding, staying above the car no matter how fast they drove. They raced into town, white-faced and shaking, straight to the county sheriff's office. And here is the first important detail. Nobody laughed. The deputy looked at 4 genuinely terrified people, and he believed something had happened. He drove back out to the TNT area with them. They found nothing. But the fear in that car was real, measurable, physical. The next morning, the story went to the local newspaper, and an editor, searching for a name, remembered that the Batman television show was the biggest thing on TV that year. So he reached for something catchy. He called it the Mothman. And that single word lit a fuse. Because once the name was in print, the floodgates opened. The next night, more sightings. And the night after that, a volunteer fireman saw it. A construction worker saw it. Mothers driving their children home saw it. Always the same, a tall winged shape, and those 2 red eyes. People reported it perched on rooftops, gliding over fields, watching from the tree line near the TNT area. Then, the strange details started multiplying. Reports of unexplained lights in the sky, dogs that vanished, quiet men in dark suits knocking on doors, asking witnesses to stay silent. The town began to change. People stopped going out after dark. Mothers kept their children inside. And carloads of armed men started driving out to the TNT area at night, not to run from the creature, but to find it, to shoot it. National newspapers picked up the story. Reporters arrived, and the legend grew far bigger than the little town that made it. Over about 13 months, more than 100 people would report seeing the Mothman. And here is the question that matters. These were not liars. They were not actors. Police officers, and steady, sober, ordinary people were swearing they saw the same monster. So how does that happen? How does an entire town start seeing the same impossible thing? The answer isn't supernatural. It's something far more unsettling, because it's true, and because it's sitting inside your head right now. Let's start with something that sounds strange, but isn't. Your brain does not show you reality. It shows you its best guess of reality. Think about it. Light hits your eyes, sound hits your ears, and your brain has to assemble all of it into a picture of the world fast enough to keep you alive. So it takes shortcuts. It fills in gaps. It predicts what should be there, and a lot of the time, you see the prediction, not the thing itself. In broad daylight, with clear information, those guesses are excellent. But at night in fog, in fear, near a creepy abandoned weapons plant, the information gets thin. And the brain has to guess much harder. Now, add one more ingredient: expectation. Once those first witnesses described a tall, winged creature with red eyes, the whole town had a template. A mental image of exactly what to be afraid of. And here's the trap. Once your brain has a template, it starts matching the world to it. A psychologist would call this priming. In plain terms, once you're told what's out there, you start finding it. So picture a man, a week later, walking to his car in the dark. He's heard the stories. He's nervous. And in the shadows by the tree line, he sees a tall shape. 2 points of light. His brain, already primed, already afraid, snaps those scraps onto the template, and in a fraction of a second, he doesn't see a shape. He sees the Mothman. He isn't lying. To him, that is what he saw. This is tied to something your brain does constantly, called pareidolia. It's the reason you see faces in clouds, in wood grain, in the front of a car. Your brain is a pattern finder, tuned over millions of years to spot living things, especially threats, even where there are none. Because in nature, the mistake that keeps you alive is the false alarm. Mistaking a stick for a snake costs you a flinch. Mistaking a snake for a stick costs you your life. So evolution built us to oversee danger. And in 1966 Point Pleasant, that ancient alarm system had a brand new pattern to lock onto. Now, what were they actually seeing? The best explanation is almost gentle. A large bird called a sandhill crane. They stand nearly as tall as a man. Their wingspan can reach 7 feet, and they have a patch of bare red skin around their eyes. One of these birds, far outside its normal range, standing in the dark near the TNT area to a calm mind in daylight, it's a big, strange bird. To a primed, frightened mind at night, it is a winged monster with glowing red eyes. Owls do it too. Their eyes reflect light and flash red. So this is not a story about foolish people seeing nothing. Their brains did exactly what every human brain does, they just did it in the worst possible conditions. But priming and pattern finding only explain one person. They don't explain a whole town. For that, we need the most powerful force of all: other people. Humans are social animals to our core, and one of the quiet rules our minds run on is this: when we're unsure what's real, we check what everyone else believes, and we borrow it. If one stranger tells you they saw a monster, you doubt them. But if your neighbor saw it, and the firemen saw it, and the police are taking it seriously, and it's in the newspaper, then doubting it starts to feel like you're the one who's wrong. Researchers have shown this again and again. Put a person in a room full of people confidently giving the same obviously wrong answer, and a large number of people will deny what their own eyes are telling them, just to match the group. That's how strong this pull is. We will distrust our own senses before we'll stand alone. So in Point Pleasant, belief became the safe, normal, sensible thing. Disbelief became the strange position. And every new sighting made the next one easier, because now there was even more proof. Then, there was one final ingredient, and it's the heaviest. Fear that already existed. Point Pleasant in the late 60s was a town carrying real, quiet stress. Worry about money, about jobs, the constant low hum of Cold War dread, and right on the edge of town, that eerie abandoned weapons site, full of poison and shadows. Here's the thing about fear with no face. It's unbearable. The human mind cannot sit comfortably in shapeless dread, so it does something almost desperate. It looks for something to point at. A target. A monster gives formless anxiety a shape you can name, fear, and even hunt. It's almost a relief. So when you stack it all up, a brain that guesses, a template to guess toward, an instinct to oversee threats, a crowd confirming each other, a newspaper feeding the loop, and a town already full of fear, looking for somewhere to put it, you don't need a monster anymore. You have everything you need to build one. And it's worth saying clearly, this is not about weak or stupid people. You've felt smaller versions of this yourself. The noise in the house after a scary movie that you know is the wind, but your heart doesn't believe you. The rumor at work that everyone repeats until it's just true. The way panic moves through a crowd faster than any fact. That's the same machinery. Point Pleasant just turned it all the way up. And then something happened that no psychology can explain away. December 15th, 1967, rush hour. The Silver Bridge, the bridge connecting Point Pleasant to Ohio, was packed with cars heading home. And it collapsed. The entire structure tore loose and dropped into the freezing river below. 46 people died. It was a real, devastating tragedy. The cause was real to a tiny crack in a single metal joint, hidden for years, that finally gave way under the weight. A failure of metal, not of monsters. But remember where this town's mind had been for the past year. Steeped in dread, watching the skies, trading whispers about omens and warnings. And in the shock of that grief, people began to connect the two. The creature, they said, had been a sign. A warning. An omen of the disaster all along. Years later, a writer named John Keel published a book that wrapped it all together: the sightings, the strange men, the bridge, and turned the Mothman into a prophet of doom. And the legend became immortal. But look closely at what really happened there, because it's one of the most human things we do. After a tragedy, the mind cannot stand the idea that it was random. That 46 people died because of a crack in a beam, for no reason, with no warning, no meaning. That's almost too much to carry. So the mind reaches backward and builds a story. It connects dots that were never connected. It says the signs were there. We should have known, because a terrifying story with meaning is somehow easier to live with than a tragedy with none. The Mothman didn't predict the bridge, but a grieving town needed the bridge to mean something. And so, the monster became a messenger. So what did the people of Point Pleasant really see? Some of them saw a crane, far from home, in the dark. Some saw an owl, eyes flashing in the headlights. Some saw nothing but shadow and their own racing fear. But here's the truth: every one of them saw something real. Just not in the woods. They saw the inside of their own minds, projected out onto the darkness. The monster was real. It just didn't live in the TNT area. It lived in the space between one frightened person and the next. In the way a story moves through a crowd, in the way belief, once it catches, becomes its own kind of sight. And here is the part that should keep you up tonight. You are not immune to any of this. Your brain runs the exact same software they had, the same guessing, the same pattern finding, the same pull toward the crowd. Drop you into that town, in that year, on that road, in that dark, and you would have seen the red eyes too. That's the real lesson of the Mothman. The question was never whether a monster was out there. The question is how easily a human mind can be convinced that one is. Today, Point Pleasant has a gleaming statue of the creature. A festival. A museum. The legend brings the whole town to life every year. But the most haunting thing in that museum isn't the monster. It's the quiet proof of how a single story under the right conditions can rewrite what an entire town will swear, to your face, that it saw with its own eyes. The dark didn't change that year. The people looking into it did. So the next time you're certain, absolutely certain, that you saw something in the shadows, it's worth asking one quiet question. Did you see it? Or did you only see what you were already afraid was there?